Hello, and welcome to the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of July 17th. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
Previously on this podcast, we chatted with our friend Nicole Eridix about what parents were talking, complaining, and obsessing about each week. And once a week, Catherine and I discussed TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics so that we could talk about something other than parenting for a change.
But now that Nicole has had to step back from the podcast and the last of our collective children turned 18, we are switching things up and we're going to talk about parenting in a more roundabout way.
Yeah. We thought about cutting back to just our Round 2 entertainment episode, but then we would have to change the name of our podcast. You know, I don't know, movie moms, streaming moms. I'm sure what everybody is looking for is, well, this sounds interesting. I wonder what a couple of moms think about it.
Right.
So we thought we would add a little extra parenting value to our usual Round 2 so that we could keep being parenting roundabout. And it does turn out that everything we watch has a parenting angle anyway. So
Absolutely.
There you go. But so we will be starting out every week with a little chat about either what's going on with us or, if we see an article or if Nicole tells us about a TikTok video or something like that. We will have a little bit of parenting chat up front like you're used to. And then later on in the episode, we have some other surprises for you. So this will be fine, right, Catherine?
Yeah.
It'll be great. Maybe we could do like the after party and just, we'll have a different format every week.
Yeah. There we go.
Except then we'd have to keep getting extra people and also somebody would have to die. So that's not good. We'll just have different parenting stuff to talk about a little bit.
Right.
And, make you people watch things because come on.
Because that's what we use the podcast
Have
for.
you watched Shrinking yet? I don't think my friend Carolyn, every time I see her, I say, have you watched Shrinking yet? Why haven't you watched Shrinking? Harrison Ford is adorable. Watch it.
And there was definitely quite a lot of talk when the Emmy nominations came out that Harrison Ford did not get nominated. Bummer.
And
he was so good.
A little video went around Twitter. I haven't figured out how to share it anywhere else, but it's just like a compilation of all his best little bits. And so nice. I guess spoilery, but still just a delight to watch. Yeah. So, look up on our podcast at parentingroundabout.com. You can find all our episodes about it, and you really should go watch it. But here we are talking about entertainment, and we're supposed to be talking about parenting. How are things going?
Good. I'm now learning what it's like when you have more drivers than cars.
Oh.
Now that my son finally got his license.
Oh my gosh. Congratulations, I guess.
Yes.
Congratulations to him. I'm so sorry to you.
No, it's mostly
good.
I've been, we've been waiting for this moment. Yes. And it is great that he has the independence, to, for example, this morning, leave at 7 a.m. to go somewhere that I did not have to take him. So
nice.
Gotta love that. Absolutely.
That is nice. Yes. Well, all sorts of landmarks for him this summer.
Yeah. He's been working on the floor plan of his dorm room with his roommates. Is
he finally going to get his knee hockey game down there? Let's see. We can push the beds up against the wall.
Right. They are planning to bunk the beds so that they can have a futon. I'm like, where are you sourcing this futon? I don't know.
How do you bunk beds? Isn't that something that either is or isn't?
No, usually in the dorm rooms, they come with a kit that allows you to...
Really?
Yeah, either to lift them up so that, they're elevated. Sometimes, in my daughter's dorm... some platformy things that you use to make it higher. So that's the way my daughter's dorm room had it.
Really?
I believe my son figured out that his room doesn't come with that kind of setup, but it comes with the ability to stack the beds if you want. So
this is all new since my college dorm days back in the cave when you just, found piece of floor to sleep on. No.
Right.
We had two very nice twin-size beds that absolutely positively did not stack.
Yeah.
But I just see things being put up and then in the middle of the night somebody coming crashing down. But I'm sure it's fine.
Yeah. I mean, they do it all the time. So
kids today with their bunking.
I remember when my daughter went to school when she lived in the dorm, on the parent Facebook group, there was all, urgent suggestions. Make sure you bring a rubber mallet so that when you loft the bed, you can pound it together.
Oh man,
and
this sounds so precarious to me. Is this from IKEA? And
the thing is that we brought the rubber mallet and we totally didn't need it. It was fine. You just stuck it together like Legos and it was just fine.
Did you have those little screwdrivers that you have
the Allen wrench? No.
Yeah.
No, you didn't need anything. You just lifted it up, fitted it together. It was fine, and it stayed fine for an entire year. So
wow. Mm-hmm. Well, golly.
Yep.
Things that I didn't know were a thing.
Mm-hmm. They're a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was never a thing for you and me to use a computer design program to map out exactly how the dorm room was going to be furnished and set up.
That is true. Although graph paper, I may have done it with graph paper. Remember
yes.
graph paper and colored pencils, how you could just design anything?
Yeah.
I could put my bed here. It is 4 squares long.
Right.
The olden days.
Yep. That's what my kid has been up to. So.
Yes. All right. Well, what we have been up to is watching the Afterparty and Brothers and Sisters.
That's
and now we smoothly segue into the part of the podcast where we're going to be talking about them.
Right.
We returned to the Afterparty in season 2. We watched episodes 1 and 2, and it is repeating the conceit from the first season, that each episode is both told from the point of view of one character and done in a different cinematic style.
Right.
For example, in these 2 episodes, the first one was a rom-com and the second one was basically Bridgerton. So I enjoyed Bridgerton way more than I enjoyed the rom-com. I usually like me a good rom-com, but Anik.
It was very cringy, and
we like you.
We do not like cringy things.
We know you're the good guy of this, but the cringe, the terrible, terrible cringe. I kept saying, I need to think of him as his hateful character in Ted Lasso, and then I will be happy to see him be humiliated.
Right.
But no, I could just only see our dear bumbling Anik just making things worse and worse and worse. Oh man, just go sit someplace away from everybody. Please, I beg you. So that was rough. There may have been some fast forwarding. There may have been, but we've been amiss in not summarizing episodes before we talk about them. So, once again, Anik and Zoe, his old classmate and crush in the first season, and his girlfriend now, are on the side of a murder. In this case, it is the murder of Zoe's sister Grace's brand new husband, the murder on their wedding night, as a matter of fact. And we get to meet all the people we're going to be getting episodes from in the weeks to come, including, hey, Elizabeth Perkins, sorry you're playing such a bleep. Would really like to enjoy having you around. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah.
But she plays the groom's horrid mother.
Yes.
And the groom also has a sister who we're not sure about at present.
They keep making a point to say adopted sister.
Adopted sister,
I feel that's important information.
Yeah. And then the groom has a very smarmy, handsome friend who we do not trust. Is that correct?
Correct.
And the bride has parents and a swashbuckling uncle of some sort who comes in on a horse, as one does at contemporary weddings.
And this guy named Travis, who it emerges as one of her exes who shows up at the wedding, and he is like a true crime guy.
Yes. He shows up and keeps showing up.
Yes.
Yeah. And the groom is a some sort of tech or crypto bigwig, but clearly, I guess we would say somewhere on the spectrum. Very unemotional and sort of persnickety in his particular needs. He has a lizard he carries on his shoulder because why not?
Right.
And
her name is Roxana.
And she also sadly falls victim to murder. Maybe they were trying to kill Roxana and accidentally killed him. It's possible.
Right. That's right.
But he's involved in things. He tries to get her to sign a prenup and she doesn't. There's obviously some business that his mother and best man decide not to call the police right away because they need to wrap up some things first.
Reasons. Yes.
Exactly. Yes. So that is the setup. And then we got Anik's story, which was excruciating. Basically him bungling his way through the wedding.
And just also to bring it back to the plot summary, once they decide not to call the police,
yes,
Anik calls up his old friend Tiffany Haddish from the first season, because she's no longer a cop. She is an author who has thought about a book.
She's apparently sold a book, but not so much written it.
Right, not so much written it. So anyway, she's like, yes, please, I'll come and hang out at your vineyard and figure out your murder. I'm down with that. So
yes,
same sort of setup as last time.
Yes. So the whole first episode, he's on the phone with her, telling her about the weekend, and then she shows up at the end of that, and then she's there interviewing Grace for the second episode, which is because Grace is somebody who likes antiques and has a very genteel way. It's told in like a period romance with costumes and everything. It's delightful.
It is.
I enjoyed it so much.
It is a lot of
After
fun.
it took me a while to go, why are they dressed like that? And I could see in her shop, but at his mother's, oh, I see what we're doing here. Okay.
Right.
But it was very fun.
That was fun.
So, Grace is, it looks like she might be guilty because Anik bungles into saying that the groom was poisoned. Edgar is the name, right?
She puts Edgar, and that he saw her putting something in his drink.
Yes. So he has incriminated her,
by
further
accident.
ingratiating himself to Zoe's family.
Right.
But she tells the story of how they met and their romance, and that she had given him some Adderall so he could stay up on their wedding night and not go to bed early, as is his way, because he wants to live forever. But
he won't be living forever. Spoiler.
Yes. That does not go well.
He did.
And in the meantime, Zoe, who has been kicked out of the interview room, is teamed up with the odd former suitor, Travis, to try to figure things out and find clues.
Right.
Which involves them flipping over the dead body and trying to use his face for facial recognition to open his phone.
Oh, dear.
So that goes well.
Yeah.
So that's the first two episodes. We really don't know much of anything other than that Edgar is a very odd duck, possibly involved in something shady.
And he has a locked closet full of crypto keys, which I have learned in my job. Like, basically, it's an offline storage of your crypto. So you have this little device, which is like just a little hard drive, basically. And that would allow you to access your crypto coins or, your crypto holdings. And so if anyone gets a hold of this little piece of hardware, they can grab your crypto.
That's very interesting, Catherine, but I'm sure it'll have nothing whatsoever to do with this story.
I just want you to be prepared.
Yes. That makes a lot of sense. That sounds like a lot of motive right there.
Exactly. So, I mean, there's a lot of, in that first one, there's some funny, I know you skipped some of it, but there's some funny business. I thought with Ken Jeong's character playing Zoe and Grace's dad, and they're, the whole thing is Anik trying to impress the parents, or at least like not make a total fool of himself, which doesn't happen. But anyway, there's this one part where Anik's going to go to the hotel and pick up the relatives. And they said, pick up the Chinese uncles and the Korean aunties, I think it was. And so he picks up these 4 lovely people and brings them to the vineyard, and the Ken Jeong's character is like apoplectic because these are the wrong people. And he's like, clearly they're Korean uncles and Chinese aunties. And I just thought it was such a funny commentary on the way people are like, well, everyone all looks alike, I thought that was clever and
funny.
Super funny. And but yet poor Anik once again.
Oh man,
he's trying so hard.
He really is.
So
but nothing
is going his way.
Goes without disaster.
Right.
No. So
I'm not sure why. Why do you think Danner, the detective, wants him to help her and sit in with her?
I don't know. I don't remember. I mean, he was sort of sitting in with her the first time, but she didn't know it because he was just had the room bugged.
Right.
Did he, towards the end there, actually go in with her? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I don't know.
But she said, we did the first one together, so we're going to do this one together.
She knows that if she lets him out of her sight, he's going to be going and making things worse with Zoe's family. So he's just stay here.
Yes, I think that's
Don't go anywhere. Don't talk to anybody else without me in the room.
Right.
Which, thank you. I say to her, thank you very much.
Right.
I was worried about this season in that first episode because it just was so... I felt so bad for him, and I just no, what are you doing? But the second one was delightful.
Well, we just have to have faith that it is a rom-com at heart, and
that's right.
Eventually, Anik will survive and thrive.
I look forward to the triumph of the rom over the com.
Right.
Anytime now, please. So we almost had a little rom-com on Brothers and Sisters, but I don't know, you guys. You walkers. We watched season 2, episode 13, Separation Anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
For the first, how many episodes of this show have we watched now? The first season and 12 episodes of this season, the Walker siblings have been, oh, Mom, why can't we get away from Mom?
Right.
Mom's up in all our business. Oh, gosh, we got to go to Mom's. Mom. And then Mom says, maybe I'll move to Washington, D.C. with my boyfriend. And they're, we can't live without you. Oh, my God.
Yes.
No. This is your chance. What's the matter with you? And also, she couldn't just let Justin stay in the house and go to Washington, D.C. for a month or two with him.
Right.
Does it have to be like, well, I'm selling the house and moving there forever?
Right.
I don't understand any of that, but par for the course of this show.
Right.
So, the plot of this one was, let's see. Isaac asks Nora to move to Washington with him, and she kind of thinks she will. And of course, the rumor runs like wildfire through the Walker siblings, who decide they must, under all circumstances, prevent this from happening for reasons, because let's see. Well, we know Sally Field isn't leaving the show. So how can we, and we know Danny Glover is leaving the show. Right. So how can we work this out? And then let's see, Robert quits his presidential campaign, and he and Kitty
he concedes because he's not going to be able to win the nomination.
Right. And he and Kitty are working on getting pregnant in a very uncomfortable looking sort of way.
Right. And there's a time jump of 3 months.
Oh, that's right. 3 months later.
Yeah.
So that's 3 months after he quits the campaign.
Right.
Right? Or after he concedes.
Yeah.
So in that time, Isaac and Nora get to a point where they're going to run away together.
Yeah.
And Kitty and Robert have gotten to the point that he's giving her shots so that they can have a baby.
Right.
And Graham's business deal with Ojai Foods is so wildly successful that he wants to go on to the next phase of overextension. And
I didn't understand that whole part where Sarah was like, I'm too close to this, Saul, you need to get us out of it. Like, why couldn't he just say, well, I'm not close to it, I'll do it. It's that part, but
I think
whatever.
I think what it was, it took me a while to figure it out. She wants to say no, but she doesn't want to be the one to say no
Because
because
of
that will
Graham.
mess up her romance with Graham. So she
Right.
wants Saul to say no for
Okay.
her. I think that's what it is. It took me,
Yeah, I
it
can
was
see that.
confusingly put out, but
Right.
so I'm sure that'll go well. And there is a birthday party for Rebecca, which, in the grand tradition of all Walker parties, goes disastrously.
And also involves somebody hearing something in the pantry.
Yes, I saw that. I love that. And the pantry is back.
And the whole business with the necklace, that's what prompts this, which is David
Yes.
gives Rebecca this necklace and Holly freaks out because she knows it's like a important family piece.
Yes.
And David says to Holly, like, what? I just couldn't find anything. I didn't have time to go to the store or whatever. He could have just said to Holly and to Rebecca, your mom wore it in a movie.
Yes.
Because Holly says that.
Perfect.
That would have been like 100% fine.
Yes.
But of course we needed Justin to overhear so he could tell Rebecca.
Yeah. And also, does David look like the kind of guy who just happens to have his mother's heirloom necklace just hanging around amongst his belongings?
In his bachelor pad kind of situation. Yeah.
He just came to town not that long ago.
Right.
It's just, I just always bring it. What the heck? It's just a piece of junk I happen to carry around with me everywhere I go in my meager set of belongings.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to not think too hard about any of that, I think.
No.
Also, I didn't think that the necklace she was wearing looked like the necklace that was in the box, but that could be
It looked like she had multiple necklaces on.
Oh, okay, maybe that's it. So anyway, the question keeps coming up.
Could it be
Rebecca's father?
Is
and
it
Holly
true?
admits that it's just one time I had a fight with William and wound up at your place. But no, that's not the way this works. It's volume. It's the one you're with the most is definitely the father. It's not a one and done kind of thing. That never happens.
Never happens, especially in TV and movies.
That's right.
Never, ever.
Yeah, I wonder if the thing is going to be, if I had a choice between saying my daughter's father was this poor, struggling director or a super rich dude, I figured I would say it was the super rich dude. That would be, maybe that's the reason she comes up with eventually.
Right.
But, so in the end, Rebecca takes various of David's anonymously collected DNA samples and brings them to a guy in a basement somewhere.
Right.
What the bleep kind of DNA place is this?
A place that doesn't ask too many questions because
Not.
clearly you can't just bring somebody's fingernail clippings to a guy. Like that's not okay.
It looked like you see somebody downtown in a bad part of town going, psst, want to test some DNA?
DNA. I got a lab right over here.
So those results will be 100% dependable, as the guy even said. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What do you want the results to be, lady? We can work it out. So we all know where this is going.
Yes.
And Justin is right there by her side, sweet boy. They have such a nice relationship.
That's the other thing. She's like, I don't know if I can handle this. I don't know if I want to know. I'm not sure I can deal. And he's like, well, how about if I come with you? Like, that's going to make a difference when you're meeting with the weirdo in the basement.
Well, actually, I would rather have a guy with me when I go meet the weirdo in the basement. But still,
that's true. Yeah.
I feel like Justin is deeply invested in Rebecca not being his sister. So it's like, let's go see. Is that something that could happen?
I know a guy.
That's right. I met this guy when I was taking drugs, and he said he could do DNA tests. Whatever results you want.
Oh, dear.
Justin slips him a 50 and says,
right.
Say yes. Oh, you walkers. It's just enjoyable to see here towards the end of the second season the complete invalidation of everything that's happened in the first two seasons.
Right.
Oh, all that plot we expended on her being the secret sister?
Right.
We're just kidding.
Right.
Oh, well. No spoilers. Not that that's what happens.
Right.
But could be.
Was this the one? Yeah, it was Rebecca's birthday, so that's why they
Yes.
were all together at one point. And it was very funny how Holly was attempting to bake a cake or cook something, and Sally Field just had to, Nora just had to keep constantly like grabbing like raw eggs out of her hands and, reversing everything she was doing because
That was so funny.
Wrong. Don't do it that way.
I don't know. Baking is one of those things you have to do right. Pretty much. There's not as much wiggle room in baking as anything else. I keep trying to explain this to my husband who wants to try baking, but he's like, when he cooks regular food, dinners and stuff.
Yeah.
He kind of has his own style. He tweaks stuff, but you can't just decide, it says 2 cups of flour. I'm going to put in 3. It'll be fine. I'm going to put in half the oil. It doesn't matter. I only have 1 egg. It's chemistry involved. But so yes, that was very funny to see her. And then they wind up buying stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Scandalizing Nora's children.
Oh my goodness. This food is from a store.
Not being homemade lasagna. What? She totally should have gone to Washington, even just for a little bit of time to make them miss her.
Yes, exactly.
If nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
Nope. It is not to be.
She'll just eat dinner alone after talking to Isaac on the phone.
Aw. Does she have like Christmas lights in her backyard on all the time?
I think so.
There are like twinkly lights out the window. And really? Does she living there? Well, she's not living there alone because Justin's living there, but still, it seems like a lot.
Right. And where is
I would
Justin?
have let the backyard go by this time.
Where's Justin? He's at the basement DNA.
Trying to prove that his sister's not his sister.
Right.
Come on.
The air quotes lab. That's where he is.
That looked like the shadiest possible place. Why, again, I ask, did they not do this immediately? Why? I mean, Kevin is a lawyer. He knows how these things go.
Right.
He jokingly tried to pluck her hair one time and then they let go of it.
Right.
Their proof was that she's hot and Justin didn't feel anything, which clearly is not the case anymore. So easily and so reasonable to say, hey, we think this is the case. You want to find out, we want to find out. Let's do it right.
Let's just confirm. Yeah.
No insult to your mother that we think she was probably sleeping with 2 guys at a time, at least. But anyway, so brothers and sisters, Sally Field will remain on the show.
Surprise.
Robert is not going to be president, maybe vice president.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that little item.
Yes, he's had a call from the guy who's got the nomination.
Right.
What could it be about? Kitty, not happy with that. She wants nothing to interfere with her plan of being jabbed in the hips and then harvested. So,
right.
Anyway, so there's our TV for the week.
That's right.
We always promise to have TV, books, and movies. We did movies last week, but books. We've been a little lax on books.
That's
Catherine, can you help us out with that?
I can. So
we have a new segment.
We have a new
I
segment.
have to come up with music for Catherine's Library Find of the Week.
Or maybe a more catchy title. I don't know. But yes, I recently started working at a public library, and all kinds of books and entertainment topics come through my hands every day. And I am going to share some of the more interesting finds with you.
Yay.
Each week, because there's no shortage of material. So I'm going to talk today about a children's book, a board book, in fact. So, a board book is for babies and toddlers. It's sturdy. It's
made to be chewed on.
Made to be chewed on, thrown around, abused. So, what would you think, Terry, would be, a good topic for a board book? Something.
My dog.
Something you want a little child to know. In this case, this is a series. I believe. And it's a sort of a way to teach French vocabulary to a little infant.
Oui, oui.
Right? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So, okay, cool. It's good to expose kids to other languages, right?
Yeah.
Get them interested,
Uh-huh.
get the sounds of those other languages in their little ears.
Yes.
So, as a vehicle for teaching kids French,
Uh-huh.
you could do ABCs. You could do,
Right.
like A is for abeille, which
Right.
means
Right.
bee. B is for bateau, for boat. No.
Brown bear, what do you see is how I taught my kids colors and also English, so they could do that in
They can do
French.
that in French.
I should
But
know how to say that in French, but I don't. But what do they do?
Instead, they've decided that what babies need is exposure to a real classic of
Yeah.
French literature
Uh-oh.
called Les Miserables.
A cheery, upbeat work with lots of pretty colors and
Yes,
lovely
exactly.
happenings.
Yes, Les Miserables, a baby-lit French language primer.
Oh my.
So that you can, here's a word.
Yes.
Man.
Uh-huh.
My name is Jean Valjean. So now you can learn the word for man.
Okay.
You can learn the word for bread. Remember, that was a plot
That's
point.
right.
Soldier. Rat.
Oh, well, there you go.
These are all important words for babies to learn.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Baby's first literature here.
Baby's first sweeping epic, prostitution.
Is that one of the words?
It's not one of the words, but it's a plot point in the book.
It sure is. Oh, goodness.
Here's what it says on the Amazon,
Yeah.
which comes from the publisher, right? It doesn't come from Amazon.
Yes.
Introduce your bébé to the world of Victor Hugo with 10 words and phrases from the classic Les Miserables.
Oh,
colorful, eye-catching illustrations of characters and objects from the novel pair with French translations. You'll want to hear your baby say again and again.
Rat! 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 What is rat in French? I'm saying the wrong
I
word.
think it's just rat. Or raton, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, my.
So,
Well,
there you go.
good for you.
They also have baby lit primers for A Midsummer Night's Dream and The Odyssey. So, there you go, Terry.
Well, that sounds just like a delightful way to build yourself an English major or a kid who will never, ever want to read. I remember I read when I was a baby and there were rats and prostitutes and
Soldiers.
people were stealing bread because they were starving. I don't never want to read anything again.
Exactly. So there you go.
Just the kind of thing you want to pull out at the restaurant when you're waiting for your food just to entertain the bébé.
Right, or just before bed, sweet dreams.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Check for le raton under your bed. Well, interested to hear what you have for us next week, Catherine. This is going to be fun. And finally, our final segment every week is going to be looking back at things we have talked about in the past. We have a ridiculous back catalog of episodes because we've been podcasting since basically before podcasts were invented, or it feels that way anyway. So we thought that since we have no more parenting of young children adventures to discuss, that we would go back to the past and see what we have talked about a year ago this week, 3 years ago this week, and 7 years ago this week. And you know what? I could still be talking about that this week.
That's right.
This year. For bleeping ever. On July 21st, 2022, we did an episode about 5 ways to annoy teens and young adults. Yep.
Still doing that.
July 22nd, 2020, we talked about the slow, bumpy road to independence. Yep, still
on
on it.
that same road.
And in July 22nd, 2016, we talked about kids and money, 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 which included a discussion of helping kids understand that you can't just keep buying things. That eventually there's a credit card bill, and that, if you have money in savings and you spend more than it, then you are out of money.
That was also the episode that involved my child wanting an alpaca for the backyard.
Yes. That's delightful. We have not had that happen, but just this week, oh my gosh, I felt so bad that we didn't have an episode where I could talk about this, but I'll talk about it briefly. Yet another instance of my daughter spending too much money. It wasn't her friend stealing it, thankfully. It was her just, we had a chat about how she's getting fewer hours, and that means she's going to have less money, and therefore she should make sure she has enough to pay her insurance. And she said, fine, I'm just going to the store to buy a bottle of soap. And so she comes back in with a rather larger bag than would hold a bottle of soap. And she says, oh no, just soap. Plus, $75 worth of stuff from Kohl's. So, and then it turned out that she had done the same thing for a couple of days. Said she was going out for one very small. She was going to get, picks for her teeth at Target, and then also $60 worth of stuff. So, I start seeing these receipts and these bills, and then I look on her bank account, and she's taken $200 out of her savings account. It's just like, we did this already. Right. We talked about this. It's supposed to be fine. What are you doing? And I'm not sure that she understands that the Kohl's gave her a credit card. Isn't that nice? Aren't they nice? And she's like, I didn't pay anything. It was Kohl's cash. It's like, no, there's going to be a bill that's going to come, and you're not going to have enough money to pay it. So I flipped my lid and screamed and cursed and just was not nice. And, it didn't do any good. And then I tried to give her a friendly lecture, and it didn't do any good. So it's like I tried that's it. I'm done. I'm not going to talk anymore for a day or two, and nobody cared. And so I don't know. I mean, she's not the only person in her 30s who spends too much. It's a fairly typical thing. Hey, I always want my kid to be typical. Yay! But still, stop it. Stop it. What are you doing? So it never ends. You can, search on our website all the different ways we've talked about annoying kids, lecturing kids, trying to convince kids to see the light, trying to make kids understand that a lie of omission is still a lie. It's like, if you go buy some cute stuff and then you come home and instead of saying, hey, Mom, look what I bought, you said, just so, then that's not true. That's not
right.
But, when do we get to stop this parenting thing, Catherine? We're stopping podcasting exclusively about it.
And yet it's still happening in our lives.
The same topics regurgitate over and over again. Speaking of which, I'm going to be putting links to lots of old episodes on social media these days. So if you are hankering for some parenting chat, there will be plenty of it there. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and you go to parentingroundabout.com. We have all the links there. And you can just hear us talk about parenting any old time you want.
Right.
And we will be talking about the same things.
It's what you call evergreen.
Yes, indeed. It never ends.
Sure.
But this podcast ends.
We'll say that's it for today's episode of the new, now they're just two of us, Parenting Roundabouts. As ever, as Terry was just mentioning, you can find all our episodes on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, or wherever you choose to get your podcasts. And you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website, which is parentingroundabout.com. And talk to us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. On Twitter, we're at Roundabout Chat. On the others, it's Parenting Roundabout. You'll find us. It's not going to be hard. And Terry will be pushing it toward you at every opportunity.
Yes.
And then you can also visit our Amazon shop at amazon.com/shop/mamatude, where you can find links to a lot of the things we've talked about over the years.
And pick up a copy of that delightful baby book. You know what? That would be the perfect shower gift. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine? what kind of reaction you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Delightful. Go get one.
I mean, if it had been around when my kids were babies, I mean, I was an English and a French major. Like, I feel like somebody would have bought
Why
that
are
for
you not
me.
writing this, Catherine?
I know. This is also the problem about me working at the library. Me going like, I can't believe somebody got paid to write this. I could have written this. Come on. Why didn't I think of that? So.
You were too busy podcasting. You know, what can you do?
I was too busy podcasting, I guess. Yes. So anyway, we will see you back here next Tuesday for more of this exciting discussion. Goodbye, Terry.
Goodbye, Catherine.
Goodbye, everyone.